Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hey! Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? How have you been?
Listen, it was a rough weekend, and Nia could call me, told me, sis, pull it together, and I pulled it together in time for the show.
That part.
But feeling really good. Real quick, though, we got to say what's up to the DBDS family. How y'all doing? I've been away for a while, right? I've been going for a while, so I'm super excited to be back here for the takeover. I even came prepared with my queen tea on, so ready for tonight's dialogue. I just wanted to show some love to Mel and Carl and the DBDS family. Thank you once again for the platform and the opportunity, because we going there tonight.
Listen, okay?
It's about to be real.
I'm excited to go there tonight, because you know how we do.
Sis.
And so who's stitching tonight? Who's stitching?
Listen. I think I'm going to cut. No. You know what? I'm going to let the professor cut. I'll stitch. I've been working on my stitching skills. Therapy got me a lot softer, a lot more empathetic. I'm not really the knife I used to be. Okay. So I think I'm okay with stitching tonight. But I know it's going to be some triggers. I know it's going to be, some people's perspectives are going to be challenged. And here's the thing, as always, y'all, we're doing this in love. We're helping. We're not here to hinder or to hurt. We're here to help. We are not experts. We are just people who have gone through experiences, and we just want to share them. We're just sharing our experiences and perspective. So please be open-minded. Please be respectful in the comments. Please don't make us take no earrings off. Don't make us do no pull-up. We're going to have a real decent dialogue and exchange tonight, right?
Yes, we are.
Exactly. So, sis, what's up with you? Tell me how you feeling about tonight's topic.
I am actually really excited about tonight's topic because I actually feel like this healing from this can be the catalyst to a lot of people's relationships, family relationships, business relationships, and things like growing, evolving, and moving forward. And that's Absolutely. What it's all about. It's all about us learning, applying it, growing, and moving forward. That's what it's all about. So Absolutely. That's why it's always in love. No matter what we're talking about up here, it's always in love because we all want to see each other do and be better. You know what I mean? So I'm excited tonight. I am so excited.
She's in that professor bag already, y'all. Y'all see she in that professor bag already. I'm here for it. And I'm the reader, right? I'm a resident reader. So I had to read some articles on unrealistic expectations, how they affected relationships, right? And I wanted to recognize it in myself because I just got out of a relationship a few months ago. And I'm like, damn, what did I expect that maybe I didn't communicate or that were unrealistic? And so I'm gonna share this real quick because I wanted to share. I read this in an article, and he says that setting your partner up to fail by creating a rule book we call expectations.
Okay.
And he said standards and expectations are not the same.
No, they're not.
They're not. And then he goes on to say that expectations really translate to make me happy.
That's exactly right. Make me happy. You do it. You do it.
You do it. And what I took from that, sis, is that reasonable expectations can become unrealistic when they're unspoken. Like when
Absolutely.
We don't say what we want. So we're going to dive into all of that tonight. Like,
let's get deep. We got our scuba gear. We got our scuba gear ready. Because where's my thing? Okay.
You ready? I'm ready. So look, we got backup. We don't never handle nothing solo. We got backup.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got a squad. We got a team. I'm going to go ahead and bring out our first queen. Where is my sis Cameron? Let me go ahead and bring out Miss Cameron first.
Hey.
ladies. How's it going?
Girl, we good and ready. How you doing tonight?
Absolutely. Huh?
Are you ready for tonight?
I'm ready for tonight. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
I love it.
Before we get started, though, please tell the family about you. I know they've seen your beautiful face before, but this is your time to shine. So go ahead and tell the DBDS family who you are. Give them a reminder because they already know. Give them a reminder.
Yes. So for those of you who are new to the DBDS family, I am Cameron. I am one of the moderators in the group. By day, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and by day I am an advocate for adolescents with mental health issues. So I am a huge advocate not only for children to get the mental health support that they need, but also adults. And I am an adult who has gone through therapy a number of times for a number of reasons. One of which was divorce. So I know what it's like to look at yourself in the mirror, not like what you see, and to make the changes that you need to make. So also, I support the DBDS community by being a blogger. My website is Dating No Nos, not N-O-N-O, but KNOWANOWS, because there's a lot to know, when you're out there in the dating world. And, tonight we're going to be talking about a trigger topic, expectations when it comes to dating. So I'm super excited to be here tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Excited for you to be here.
Okay, I got to check out Dating No Nos.
Yes, me too. You saw me writing it down now.
Me too. Me too.
Oh.
Y'all heard that, Dating No Nos. Y'all need to check that out. And since I'm so here for the therapy, it's literally changing my life. I've allowed myself to sit on somebody's couch, a trained professional, and talk about my issues. Not saying the altar wasn't enough or, the home girl on the phone, but there's something about therapy sessions where the change is evident. So I am now a proponent of therapy. I agree.
Yes, it wants you to dig a little deeper. That's what it does. Yeah.
That part. Yeah. That part. Yeah. So sis, who else do we have here with us tonight? I know we got extra backup.
Yes, we do. I think our next person is Miss Shari. Shari Woods. Hi, Shari.
How are you?
Good.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to have you. Shari, tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do, please.
Yes. So I have had the honor of being a part of Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters a couple of times. And it is always such, amazing conversations and things and topics that, we need to kind of talk about that's not always represented the way that it needs to be. So I'm a therapist. I'm a psychotherapist. One of my passions and expertise is trauma. I'm also a professor for Southern, the State University here for their MSW program. And I also, I'm an administrator for the only state hospital for adults in Connecticut. So I'm really kind of in the trenches of a lot of interpersonal, relational type things.
Yes.
But, I'm just going to be raw and vulnerable and speak of my own life, the things that I've been exposed to and all of that. And so I think that, this is going to be a really interesting conversation and topic that, we need to kind of put out there and really start thinking about, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We ready.
Okay. You ready?
And so here's what's really dope, ladies. This is not our typical DBDS format. Like Mel and Carl were like, you know what, y'all taking over, take over. And so we completely changed the format. It is just going to be open discussion, open forum. And I think that's really going to allow us an opportunity to engage more with the audience. Take their questions, respond, give some insightful feedback, things like that. So first off, I'm going to come to the professor first. I'm going to come to the co-host first. Tell me, give us an example of an unrealistic expectation that is sabotaging relationships, and from a women's standpoint. because y'all know we deal with the ladies, queens. When we take over, it's to help us. It's us helping us. We gonna touch on the fellas, but we dealing with we mirrors tonight, okay?
Yes, we're mirrors tonight.
Right? What? Tell us one.
So the funny thing is you caught me off guard with this question because we as women, I feel, have so many unrealistic expectations, but you touched on something earlier. See, it can be a regular expectation, but what makes it unrealistic is not speaking about it, not making your requests known. I was talking to someone the other day. I've had my own unrealistic expectations. My mother used to tell me, man, who you trying to have read your mind? Because if you don't say it, then how are they supposed to know? And in my mind, I'm like, they know me. They're supposed to just know. Yeah. They're supposed to know that this is what I want. This is what I need. Mm-hmm. And so I had to grow myself out of that mentality and now actually say out loud the things that I want and require, and then create space for them to do it. So one of the things for me was that I expected my husband to just know what my basic needs were. Like if I wanted quality time spent, it had been a while. I was expecting him to realize that it had been a while too. Mm-hmm. Instead of just saying, honey, listen, it's been a while since we've had some quality time, since we've had date night. I know you're grinding, I know you're doing this, but it's been a while. And instead we internalize it, we harbor it. And then once we do this, what people don't realize, y'all, is that the body impulses cannot hide what is going on in the mind. Wow. So your body begins to tell on you, whether you know it or not. So now I'm acting different. And they're like, what's wrong? Nothing. And I had to get over that. Like, stop, sis. First of all, you're lying. Something's wrong. And you need to put your big girl panties on and express it.
That part.
Okay? And I think that's the biggest issue, is not expressing it for fear of rejection or whatever the case may be. All right? So that would be my take on it.
I love it. Since I'm only taking this, you can't invite the professor nowhere because she gonna be educating and influencing. But no, you're absolutely right, and I love that because I am so guilty of that. Like I'll not say something, and then my face tells on me, my body language. And when I say your body tells on you, sis, to take it a step further, I'm no longer in the mood. No. And so now I'm withholding sex from my partner, and now you triggering him, right? Because so it literally compounds one issue after another. That's good, sis. That is good. I'm gonna come to you, Cameron. Any comment to what Tanisha shared, or do you have your own unrealistic expectation that you've experienced or you just witnessed from a sister?
Yeah, no, she definitely hit the nail on the head with that one. Unexpressed expectations are like a silent killer in a relationship, because at the end of the day, a man's thinking is not a woman's thinking. We can agree with that. However, they can do something that feels comfortable to them, but that action is really neutral in and of itself. But it's the meaning that we give to it, like, oh, he did this. That means he doesn't want me. He doesn't desire me, so, and then we start to spiral and we're off in some other world. And it's like, how did you
get there?
That
right
there, like,
right.
No, absolutely not. And, I take accountability. I was there. I did that. And actually I was called, on the rug, about what I was doing in a relationship by one of my girlfriends in my late 20s. And she said, why are you getting upset with him? You've got unexpressed expectations. I was like, huh? She was like, have you told him? Have you asked him? Have you told him how you feel? I was like, no. But that was like a huge aha moment for me, because again, like you said, Tanisha, you're like, oh, well, he should know. He should know what I want.
Like,
duh. Yeah,
right. No.
That's not how it works. So, from that point on, I literally like started taking a neutral event and saying, you know what, I feel like this when you do that, or this is what I would like to do.
Yeah.
Or how do you feel about that?
Yes.
Like you said, give them space to show up.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with telling your partner what you want.
Absolutely. And I think what's really dope about what you said about unexpressed expectations is we do create this whole narrative in our minds, because when he failed to read our minds, we then tell ourselves he doesn't care. He's not interested in how I feel. I don't matter to him. I'm not a priority. And then we have all of these things still in our minds, and we've never invited him to the thought. And so the thoughts are growing, and they're creating distance, and they're creating discord, and they're creating an attitude. And now you're not cooking, and we ain't getting no set. Like, it just keeps going. So like you said, I think communication not only kills assumption, but it kills unexpressed expectations. So that's dope. Shuri, I know you want to jump in here. I know you got something to add to this. So I'm coming to you, sis. What do you have a comment on what was already said, or do you have an expectation to present?
Right. So I think, I think from very early on, even when I was just kind of unconscious or unaware of, this whole idea of expectations, what I did know is that having an expectation always leads to disappointment, because what it does, it really precludes you from being able to expand or evolve, because our set of expectations really has to do with our lens, right? And so when we have this expectation of what other people are going to bring to us, I think that we limit, our experiences. And I think it's really based out of fear. And I think it's a way for us to control the things around us and the people around us. And I also think that it's a sense of entitlement. I think that you should behave this way, do this way. If it doesn't feel right, it's contrary to what I think, makes me feel good, then it's not good. And so I think that it also, it really precludes us as well from being in the moment, right? We're always basing things on an expectation of how someone's going to make us feel, how a situation is going to present itself. And if it's not wrapped up the way that we envisioned, then we're just going to cast it out. But that's a really limited belief system. You know what I mean? And so I think that we really need to keep our mind open. We need to stay. But the reality is that a lot of this stuff comes from when we were children. It's, the professor was saying, right? Our body and our mind, they're connected in some way. And so I think that, when we're crying as an infant, we expect someone to come to our aid. And I think as we grow up, we have these expectations on people that we want them to complete us. And that means that we're not whole. But the reality is that we are whole, and that we have to do that work so that we can sit in a space with someone and say, you be you, I be me, and let's just exchange energy. Right. And so that's kind of where I'm at with this, with the expectations. Right.
That is so good, sis. Yeah, I agree. Like, that was a whole word. And I'll just quickly share something, and then I got some extra backup tonight. Right. But I just want to share something. Something you said, Cherie, just made me sorry. That made me think of my issue with expectations. So for so long, I would not enforce. No, first of all, I wouldn't set, and then I would not enforce standards. And when I finally did, they became unrealistic expectations. It was almost me forcing the next person I was with to fix what I didn't address in the past. And so I think that's what we tend to do, subconsciously. It's like, oh, had I just set standards before, I probably wouldn't have all these expectations, but they're created because I never had standards. So now my expectation is for you to do this, this, and this. And really, it's because I just didn't have standards this whole time. Right. And so that has
changed, right? Right. Standards change as we experience things and as we evolve. So that makes sense. They shift.
Yeah.
And it's been sabotaging, because I'm literally trying to make I was trying to make someone pay for my lack of standards in the past. And so they became these harsh, aggressive, unrealistic almost expectations, when really had I just had standards the whole time and enforced them and boundaries and all of those different things, those expectations wouldn't even have existed. And I would have allowed the person to just be who they are, because they would have introduced me to things that I didn't have to create an expectation for, because it's who they already were. Right. And so that's that mirror moment where it's like, ooh, you know what? That's on me. That's my fault, or that's my problem. So real quick, I want to bring out some additional backup. She's waiting patiently backstage. Where is our sister Denise? I know she's here. Oh. Hey, so glad you could make it.
How y'all doing? To be on here finally. Thank y'all for having me again.
Of course. So we are already into the conversation about expectations. We are chatting about either expectations we've had or we've experienced, things like that. So please jump right in and share with us, like, what are some unrealistic expectations you've set, you forced on someone? Share. Go ahead, girl. We sharing. This is Vegas right now.
Yeah. No, I was backstage listening to you, Nati, so I just wanted to piggyback off that. So there is nothing wrong with having standards, but those unrealistic expectations is when it's just basically, wow, it's fantasy. You know, it's just out there. Like I had some homegirls, you know, they'd be like, you know, even to this day, oh, he had to be 6 feet, 6 figures, you know, this list of things. And really they don't have no expectations for themselves, you know. Right. So there's nothing wrong with having those standards, but like Sherry was saying as I was listening backstage, you kind of just want to have an open mind and don't be unrealistic. You know, you don't want to be too far-fetched to where, you know, you can't meet anybody or nobody won't even, you know, be able to get in that little box that you have. No one's ever going to fit or check off, in my opinion, every single little thing anyway. So that's really where I was going with that. So just don't be unreasonable. Just be open, you know, with your expectations, your standards. Now you need to have your standards, you know, of course, if you're saying, hey, I want somebody with a job, you know, he's able to take care of the family, you know, there's nothing wrong with those things, but, you know, they have to be, you know, 6 figures and all of this stuff, you know, and then I think it you know, fluctuate with people because, you know, I meet some women to where they're telling other women what it is that they want, they deserve, and they want different things out of life. So what, you know, you want, I might not want, you know what I mean? So, you know, but again, you want to be realistic still, you know, so to speak. So that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I want to come back to you, sis. Tanisha, I know you have something else to add to this discussion.
Yes. So, you know, and this is in good honor of our sis Mika, who's always saying like, well, here's the thing. What's your solution? Okay. Like, well, what are we going to give the people? So I'm going to say something that actually helped me that I learned in 2010. Because I was really bad with this, y'all. Like I never really spoke what I desired or required from anyone around me, not just my relationships. I'm talking about anyone. Family, friends, siblings, whatever. I just never spoke them out. So what I started to do was I started to finally start to speak about them. But there was a law. There was something that I learned in 2010, and it was called the law of allowing. And that was allowing others to be who they're going to be, do what they're going to do, and have what they're going to have without judgment from me. The only thing that I have control over is if I'm present in a space. So a lot of stress for us comes from not being able to control what other people are doing. Wow. And we have no control over what anybody else is doing, either with us, to us, or around us. We only have a choice as to whether we're going to continue to remain in the space or to remain in fellowship with that person once we've set the standards. And now, you know, they're going against the standard or the boundary or what have you. Now we have the choice as to whether we're going to listen. This is what I said, and this is what I meant when I said it. And now if nothing is going to change after me giving you that space to adapt to that, then now I have to remove myself from this space. And that has caused me to really the relationships and the things that are around me now, they're so much more intact because I know that I'm choosing to remain in the space. Now it's all up to me. There's no blame, no shame, no anything on anyone else. Once I realize what something is, once I realize it, either I choose to stay or I choose to go. And if I'm going to stay, then nobody wants to hear your complaints about it.
That part. Exactly.
And that's just
exactly. Wow, sis. I mean, the bomb was so appropriate because, like, no, seriously, like you dropped that, but it's so true. If you are going to stick around, if you're going to decide, like, no, I'm not going to put this expectation on this person, I'm going to stay here, then you can't complain that they're not fulfilling what you want. And I know we have some comments coming in, so we can stop now and take some comments, but I do have a question for you ladies when we get back from the comments. So let's see some of these comments. So Facebook user says, hey. All right.
You want me to read, Natima?
Yes, I'm gonna say, can you see that?
I can. I got these glasses on today, you know. Prayed me a pretty penny, so they better work. All right. So if men and women simply focused on building themselves up physically, financially, emotionally, and mentally before trying to build families, most of these issues wouldn't exist. Back in the day, most boys had a decent, stable income by 18. That is unrealistic for this generation. Women are expected to marry by 25, but men in the same age group are just in the beginning of their careers. The older parents want their children to marry as early as possible. It's unrealistic expectations on all sides.
Wow.
Woo!
That's wow.
That was a whole word.
That was.
Hello, DBDS sisters. Quite honestly, I have blamed myself for my expectations in the past and found myself unhappy in my relationships. But now I trust myself more with those expectations. Is it too much to ask for to find your partner attractive, to be able to have good conversations, and to be able to share some leisure activities? Please share with us.
That's a really good comment.
Yes.
Yeah, that I think we should all definitely answer or respond to this one. So I just want to quickly say I don't really see those as expectations. I see those as standards. I think those are your standards. Wanting someone who is attractive, I would hope we all want to be attracted to our partner, right? But having good conversation, that's a bare minimum for me. I have to be able to converse with you. I have to be able to have an exchange, a meaningful engagement with you, and then absolutely sharing in leisure activities. I don't think you're being unrealistic.
I feel like this is basic.
Yeah, this is like ground level.
However,
absolutely.
Here's where it would become an expectation. Leisure
Talk
activities. The activities that I expect to go on have to be at a 5-star restaurant.
Okay.
We have to take a trip out of the country every 3 months. I expect that for my birthday, those are
it's the whole month. It's the whole month for my birthday.
That's when a standard becomes an unrealistic expectation.
Yep. Agreed.
See, so here's where I think I'm a little bit on the opposite side of that, or I don't want to say I disagree because I do agree, but for me, if my leisure activity is going out to eat at a 5-star restaurant, that's because that's what I do as a single woman. So I'm gonna want to keep doing it in a relationship. And I would hope after conversation and after dating, the person I'm with pick that up or recognizes that in our dating. But same thing with vacations. I am big on travel. Like I have to travel. It's literally like air to me. Like if I don't get to travel, I'm not a nice person. I'm being honest. And again, I would hope that I'm with a partner where that's where we're compatible, because it's like, oh, that's why I like my mate, because she loves to travel, I love to travel. I don't want to end up with someone who don't like what I like. I like eating out. I need to be with someone who likes to eat out. I'm not even going to get involved with someone who'd rather stay at home all the time, because you're not my type. So again, I think that goes back to standards and types. Like, you're literally not my type if you don't like to travel. We ain't never going to make it. We're not going to make it if you don't enjoy going out to eat. So I agree when you can't provide those experiences for yourself, but you expect your mate to do it. That's unrealistic.
Absolutely.
You can take yourself to 5-star restaurants and you can take yourself on dope ass vacations. Then again, I think that becomes more of a preference in your partner. And again, that's just me.
Absolutely. And that's where I said that's the sticky area where a standard can become unrealistic.
Absolutely.
You said, if I'm already doing that for myself, that's the partner I need to be with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to doing this on my own, whether I have a partner or not.
Right.
So
that's more like an equally yoked thing. That's more like a compatibility thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get what you're saying, Cameron, as well. Like, you know, listen, I want to share some leisure activities. Is your leisure activity playing pool? Like, you know, that is a conversation that needs to be discussed. Like Natima was saying, like, now, if my leisure activity is, I don't go in certain places and I don't go in certain neighborhoods, then you need to know, don't take me over there, okay? That ain't nothing but a little fish, you know. Remember when Martin was a thin line between love and hate, and he took her to the fish market, and that's not where she went, and took her horseback riding. Like, those are things that need to be spoken about to see if there's even a compatibility factor, as opposed to whether it's our expectation or not.
Right, exactly.
You know?
So I'm like really drawn to this comment. You know, it's like an oxymoron. So she's saying that she blamed herself for her expectations in the past and found herself unhappy, right? Mm-hmm. But now she trusts herself. But now what she's asking for is the very bare minimum. She's saying, can I just find him cute? Can I look at him? Can he talk to me?
Right.
So I'm not really sure. It sounds like there's a lot of self-esteem issues right here. It sounds like the relationship and everything in the past has, you know, really kind of brought things to the forefront. But if you really look at what Sis is saying, like, she's really got to go within. She needs some time of isolation. She needs a season of isolation and do some healing to understand why. Don't ever blame yourself for being you. Like, we're all on a journey. We cannot hold through, right? No, we're all on a journey. And as you kind of evolve and move forward, you got to get rid of that language. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. I blame myself for these expectations. No, this is what you did because you didn't know any better. And it's all good. But as you move forward, like everybody's saying, we have standards, right? We don't want to be treated disrespectfully. We want, you know, certain comforts and certain safety. But at the end of the day, we have to let people be them and we're going to be us. But this is the bare minimum that she's requiring just as a dialogue, an interpersonal situation. She's talking about good to look at, talk to me, please. You know, can we at least have some leisure activity? I mean, it's almost like her stance is way too low. It's like, nah, you know, so she really has to take some time to really understand who she is and her self-worth before she can put herself out there like that, because this is indicative of something that is just, it's broken. You know what I mean? So spend some time alone, sis, seriously, and do some self-reflection. And clean the language right there. Ask yourself, why is that your language? Why is that the narrative? You know what I mean? Because it's not, you're much better than that. You know what I mean? Not about an expectation, but we do have a standard about how someone's going to interact with us, right? Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good.
My expectation of man is that they make the first move and they need to pursue women with more energy. However, this generation channel reverse roles on almost everything. Should I fit in with the crowd and start pursuing men, or stick to my guns and let them come to me? Girl, if those are your guns, stick to them.
Stick to them.
Why though? Why?
Why should she stick to her guns?
Because aren't we always growing and evolving? If we stick to what we've always known, we're gonna miss certain opportunities and situations. You know, sometimes when we can be straightforward and we can be confident.
But here's the contradiction. Should I fit in with the crowd? See, it's one thing if it was her idea, and it's another thing that you just following salmon upstream. Like, I'm not going to just follow what the crowd does. If that's not what I do, I'm not going to do it because the crowd does it. So if she's saying this generation has, that she's already stating where her mentality is.
Right.
My expectation, her expectation, is that they make the first move. But this generation reverses roles. Should I fit in with the crowd and start pursuing men? I don't think you should start to fit in with the crowd. I would never tell my child to fit in with the crowd. I would tell them that if that's what the crowd is doing, sweetie, do the opposite. Because where the crowd is going is not always the best way.
But listen, she doesn't have to fit into the crowd, but she could go and do what she feels she needs to do. I mean, I think that was just something she was kind of referencing. But at the end of the day, why not step out of your comfort zone? Right? Pursuing men is not a bad thing. They're human beings. I think that we have this, generational or this whatever. Do what you feel you need to do based on your energy. I know we have certain standards and sort of, ideologies that we follow, but when the energy feels right, you just lean into it.
And I love that you said that. I love that I'm sorry, T. I just gotta say, I love that you said that different energies, because I will say there is a certain type of energy that comes with a man that's okay with you approaching him. I'm sorry, I'm way too old school to pursue or engage with a man and make advances in him. I'm used to being pursued, and so I'm old school, and that's what I prefer. I prefer that type of man who also has that mentality. No, it's on me to make the first move. If you start to shift, you know what I'm saying? You start to give into that shift. There's a certain energy that comes with that. There's a type of man that comes with that energy. Those are usually men, and this is just from my experience, my perspective. I am not a relationship guru or relationship coach or anything. But what I've experienced in friendships and in my own life, when I take the lead like that, I take the lead for the rest of the relationship. And I don't want to lead. I want to be led. And so if I'm setting that tone and that standard up front, that's now his expectation for the rest of the relationship. She came to me. She want me. I'm the prize. She chasing me. Like, no. And he is. But I'm just, I
never looked at it that way. That's
you want to come back to me.
No,
so
but
I think, I agree with her that we do live in a time where women are just sick of being single, and they like, look, dude on my job is hot. I'm about to shoot my shot. It's gonna hurt. But I think, again, it's gonna set the wrong tone in the relationship, because it could be emasculating without intent. Like, that's not your intention, but he feels like, well, damn, let me come to you. Let me feel this thing out and then pursue you. So, but go ahead.
We're assigning roles, though. We're assigning roles, right? We're assigning roles.
No, we're not assigning roles. I think it's energy. Roles and energy are two different things.
So
Yin and yang are separate.
But if we're talking about energy, then there's no anything goes. It's just what it is. It is. Like, there's no, oh, wow. You know what I mean? If it's energy and you're gravitating towards someone, I don't think that's when we let go of all the expectations of who I'm supposed to be and who you're supposed to be, and you just kind of lean in.
I don't. Yeah. So that's why where we have different perspectives. I don't agree with leaning into a man, but I will say there is a way to express interest with a man without pursuing him. It's no different to me than asking a man to marry you. If that's the case, like, you'll never catch me. I'm not doing that. But I do agree with showing a man interest, because there is a way that we as women can show, hey, look over here a little bit, because I got my husband's attention like that. I didn't pursue him, but I pursued him. You better believe it. Right. My sister niece, what weigh in on this for us? Yes. Weigh in on your thoughts on this comment.
No, I definitely am not one to shoot my shot at a guy, but like like you were saying, there is a way to do so, flirt or whatever it is, but not too much to where you're being just over the top, but just letting him know, hey, I'm interested in a cute way without just doing a little too much. So I do agree with you on that, but I'm definitely not the type that's going to just go, try to holler at a guy, but, so in a feminine.
And it's to each his own, It's to each his own.
Cameron's smiling. Cameron, what you think on this?
I said, nah, I'm not pursuing a man.
Well, because I got a story about that.
Ooh.
So,
Story time.
Yes, I'm
yes,
here for it.
it's story time. And that's why I'm laughing because, I'm more, with Sherry and, vibes and energy and whatnot. And, I'm just, if it feels good to me, I'm just going to go for it.
Right.
So, my children's father, who I married, I approached him, but only because I had seen him at 3 prior events. So it was like we were in the same social circle, so to speak. So I approached him and literally I was like, hey, I've seen you at such and such events, da da da, and whatever. I just felt like I needed to know your name. And that was the God honest truth. Like I was coming from the most pure, honest place ever. And he looked at me and he started laughing. I was like, did I say something funny? He was like, no, because I noticed you too. And now here you are. Y'all, I wrote my phone number on the smallest piece of paper ever in life. I mean, it was teeny tiny. And I had to go. So that was a Friday night. I had to go out of town that weekend. I didn't hear from him until that Monday. And he apologized to me. And I was like, what's going on? Like, why are you apologizing? He was like, you wrote your number on the smallest piece of paper ever in life, but I found it in my pants pocket. I wanted to call you Saturday, but I couldn't find the paper, but I did find it eventually. So 9 months later, he proposed to me. So
Right.
But
Well,
to
that's
your
what we're
point,
saying, though,
Natima, I
Cameron.
didn't have to lead that relationship. Although I approached him, he, I guess, filled his role as the man. And, I didn't have to maintain that position. I didn't necessarily see it as, oh, I'm pursuing him. No, it was like,
Right.
oh, well, we're in the same circle. I want to know your name. I think you're
Yeah,
good looking. You like that was in my.
I don't see that as pursuing either, though. That's
Yeah.
like pursuing
Networking.
right. Like pursuing to me has a certain air. I mean, I did the same thing to my husband. We were at a function. I met him at a hair show. And I looked at my boss literally because he was staring at me. I looked at my boss. I said, I got to get that man and I will get him. And I said, we got to come up with a plan because I was not going to go ask for his number. I was not about to go chasing him around. And I said, she said, look, girl, we about to have an event and we can act like we need him for the event. So that's how we're going to get, his number. That's how we finagled the whole thing. So I'm not saying like, okay, don't express interest, don't show. But I feel like pursuing says it just has a word to it. It just means chase, like to me. Like when you're pursuing something with a certain purpose. And I just feel like for me, like I wanted to show him all I had to do, but all I did was what you did. I went up to him and I said, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I got something my boss wanted to talk to you about. I didn't even have to talk to him about the event because he ended up saying, hey, let's go take a walk. And then I seen a pool. He said, hey, you want to get in that pool? I said, I don't got a bathing suit. He said, oh, you don't need that. Oh, I knew I was in there after that. I said, oh, okay. So I don't think that, we got to sit and be prudes. Like, I'm interested and I better look forward. I better not say nothing. But pursuing a man, I feel like, express interest and then dip out and let him kind of,
Yeah.
I
So it's probably
interject
more of
really
like
quickly?
pursue needs.
I love what you're saying. I feel like I have an echo right now. But when you say pursue, right?
Yeah.
We pursue everything that means something to us in our life. We pursue our education.
Absolutely.
We pursue our jobs. We pursue.
Yes.
So why wouldn't we pursue a life partner? Like what I'm saying is pursue is like I can be in a state of transparency, vulnerability, and authenticity. So if I see someone, which is very rare, because obviously I don't have to run around chasing or pursuing anyone. Like but if I feel like I'm drawn to something or someone, like no matter what the circumstances is or anything happening in the external world, and I'm gravitating, I have to go out of my comfort zone and say, hey,
I feel like a comfort zone. I think you're 100% right actually with that. Like, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like, depending on what the situation is decides whether I want to pursue it. If I want a life partner, I I I I have a belief. So it's not about a comfort zone for me. It is about a belief because I grew up Christian. So the Bible says when a man finds a wife, not when a wife finds a husband. So I happen to have that belief system that he's going to find me. So and if we're in the same space, oh, you better believe I'm gonna make sure he's looking over here. You better believe it by the way that I look, by the way that I present myself. So yes, so I understand what you're saying, but it's not like a level of uncomfortability. I feel like I could go talk to any man, but will I choose to go talk to any man? Absolutely not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference in positioning yourself to be pursued than to pursue. That's where I think that the lines can get blurry in this generation, where women are literally going up to the dude, hey, I want to take you out. That's not what Cameron did. Cameron just simply said, what's your name? He took it from there. Let me get your number. I'm going to call you. So immediately, you know what I'm saying, the chase went where it
switched up quickly.
So like you said, I'm going to position myself to be seen. I'm always going to do that. If I'm interested, you're going to recognize I exist in the room, but I'm not about to ask you for your number. I'm not asking you out on a date. That's what I mean by position.
Oh my goodness. All I have to do is smile. I'm like, hi, just make eye contact. I'm not
saying that's what most women are.
Right, and that's what we're saying, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
This says, hello. I can see it from both sides, but I am a traditional woman and I'm not going after no man.
Right.
Hello, this is Mel's wife. Roll him the ball and let him shoot his shot.
Oh, I like that. Roll
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, damn, you sisters are rare, beautiful, and smart, but I gave up on love. Searching for the one, the soulmate, is the greatest con of all and only adds more confusion to the great delusion of romantic love and the many train wrecks of our happily ever afters.
I agree.
That's loaded.
There's a lot in here.
I agree. Because for me, you create this fantasy. Everybody who knows me, who loves me, is like, Shar, you just love love. I love love, right? And so automatically walking into something, I don't know how things just look when they're just like stable and I want to be on this big, beautiful ride that's like, oh my God. And when it's not there anymore and it's not, we're all over each other and we're paying, I'm like, oh God, what's going on here? Like, and that's just real talk. And that's something that I had to, with being single for almost 5 years on purpose, had to really decipher and say, whoa, as soon as it's just calm, and that comes from upbringing, that comes from a lot of things. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't, the sensations in my body doesn't feel the same. I'm not rising, like, what's happening? I'm questioning myself. And this is why I always say we have to take time to step out into a season of isolation. Did I think mine was going to take all this time? But I think it was great. And I probably am still going to have a lot of issues when I get back into something. But yeah, it's that roller coaster thing. We can never look for our happiness in someone else, right? We have to find that within ourselves. So now I wake up every morning alone. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but wow, it's so dope. Like, I'm happy, but I would be happier if I had a person that I didn't have any expectations, but a nice, solid, transparent, safe, authentic situation with. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that's an unrealistic expectation to believe that somebody's going to make you happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not their job.
No,
it's not. It's not.
Ridiculous.
Denise, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was actually going to come to you, so I'm glad you jumped in. Respond to this comment. Like, first of all, like I said, it's loaded. It's so much here. So whatever part you want to do, the whole thing. But
on one side, it sounds really sad.
Yes.
And then on another side, it's you don't want to be. You want to be in that middle ground. You don't want to be like too unrealistic. And then you just don't want to be like completely, pessimistic either. Like you want to be, you want to be in the middle. So yeah, it's kind of hard. You got to go in with great expectations, but not unrealistic expectations. You want to just let it flow. You want to let it flow. You want to let it go. You want to be positive. One thing you were saying earlier about getting with someone that, you know, like going out to eat and the traveling, and I agree, all of those things should be talked about beforehand. If those are things that you like to do, why get with somebody? Because I know plenty of people in this situation, they're with somebody that don't like traveling, and now they're miserable because the guy that they're with, although they're a good man, they don't take them out on dates. They're not romantic, and they're not traveling or going anywhere. So now, you know, you're married. This is the person that you have to be with for the rest of your life, but they're not willing to compromise. Another unrealistic thing, like we were just saying with just now about not being happy, but also with expecting people to change. So if you go ahead and get to know each other from the beginning stages and lay all of that stuff out on the table, you know, of course, everything isn't going to come out in the beginning and as time go on, but you want to try to get out as much as you can, the most important stuff, because that's important and it can bring a lot of problems later on within a relationship. Like I said, I know people in that situation and you're unhappy at the end of the day because you're not traveling, and you have to get with people, as they say, in your tax bracket or doing what it is that you want to do, because you know,
Realize.
If you can't handle, go ahead.
I think that many times a woman already had her eye on a man before he even knows it. But I also think that a woman can also make her interests be made known in a way that would get his attention, in a way that he will approach her.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Absolutely, Floyd. We call that baiting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know how to do that very well.
Carl said, here go Carl. The only expectation for a woman is to drop the handkerchief and let him go from there.
Absolutely. Get them together, bro.
Yes, Carl.
I think it's worth noting that expectations are a good way to be disappointed in someone.
Yes.
Maybe these expectations are ideas we adopted from movies or unrealistic relationship goals. When looking up the word expectation, I found that the definition is the state or condition of wanting or awaiting with confident anticipation. Come on here.
And it's all centered around us, right? It's a very selfish thing.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
Jay Red says, why not go for what you want though? Anything we want in life, we go for it, right? I'm just curious from a man's perspective.
And I'm assuming Jay's referring to why
we said when we're not going to pursue.
We're not going to pursue a man.
Right.
So again, it's not about not going for what we want. It's about being strategic and finessing it a certain way. And again, it's really to maintain and preserve the energy dynamic. I don't want to leave. And so if I need initiating the dating and initiating the pursuit, it's gonna be off. And so it's not that I'm not seeing something I want and then going after it. It's being smart enough to say, okay, I see what I want as a woman, and my sister taught on this, the gifts of a woman. I am magnetic. There are things that I have innate, and that magnetism, that's one of them. And so I'm gonna just put myself in the room with perfume.
That's all I gotta do.
Put myself in the room.
That's all we have to do.
And that's gonna draw him in. So I am technically going after what I want. I'm doing it in a way that preserves my femininity and gives him his masculine energy. So
at the end of the day, don't we all just want to be feminine? Don't we all just want a man to lead? But we also have to give them a space and the confidence to be able to lead, right? And so, the more, we're successful, we're educated, we're beautiful, we're this, but we also have to make room for him to feel like he's something, that he's significant, that you are, and that's hard, especially, it's a different time. This whole thing is called the Queen Takeover, right? And so how do we,
exactly.
And so how do we get that level of submissiveness? For me, submissiveness is something that I've always wanted my entire life, because I've always been boss. I've always been the one leading. I've always been the one resentful, because I'm like, what are you doing back there? Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, men want to feel like you give them a space where you can say, okay, you could lead. Let's talk about the shortcomings. Let's talk about, and just sit in vulnerability. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah. So that was
like
good.
April said, rolling the ball.
That's
Right.
He made the shot. I gave him the ball. He don't even realize. And it doesn't matter because he made the shot. That's what he's excited about. He made the shot, but it was my ball. So it's fine.
He made the shot, but it was your ball.
That's right.
That's where I'm at. Imagine if it's
our last one. Before the
he
commercial break.
makes the shot and you just a cheerleader on the sideline. We don't even know how to do that no more. It's like,
I think this is our last comment, guys, before our commercial break.
Okay.
So this one says, Facebook user, I know a lot of men who actually stated that they despise when a woman pursues a man. So
okay,
we got a lot of differences of opinions there. So that's good, though. That's the world we live in.
Spice of life.
I know.
All right, so we got a commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Girl and DBDS brand ambassador, Nicole Marie. What I love most about DBDS is that it is a growing, thriving community based on educating, showing love and support for one another, and straight up telling the truth. And believe me, we do. But we also genuinely care about building each other up, which in turn builds stronger communities. Now, if you're single and seeking a healthy relationship, much like myself, you can check out dbdssingles.com. You'll find all of this and more when you join the DBDS group on Facebook and DBDS Live on
YouTube. You and I, we talk all the time, and really, man, I just give much love and appreciation to you for founding DBDS and starting it, man, because it's not normal. There's so much banter back and forth, and just like you and I talked earlier, before we got on, who's going to raise the white flag first?
Hey, that's beautiful.
Hi, I'm so excited. This is my first Queen Takeover. Usually I'm in with the fellas, but I'm excited today.
So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Mel, take it away.
Mel.
Are you single? Do you know about dbdssingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at dbdssingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
Yes, I love that. Let's make love and loyalty dope again. Listen, ladies, can y'all believe it's already been an hour? Like, this conversation is just flowing. It is just flowing. We're getting a lot of love from everybody in the comments, so continue to drop your comments. We definitely love engaging. But I want to pivot a little bit because, although we focus a lot on gender relatability when we do the Queen Takeover, relationships don't just exist in how we interact with men and women. How we interact with each other, ladies. I want to talk a little bit about unrealistic expectations among friends and in friendly relationships, girl to girl, right? Female to female, feminine energy to feminine energy. What are some of the unrealistic expectations we put on each other in friendships? And I'm going to start with you, Denise, because I saw you shaking your head first. And what are some of those unrealistic? Because again, we're about helping and we want to help holistically.
Yeah, I could definitely speak from experience with this.
Yeah.
People expect you to be on the phone with them all day, every day, come to every event, show up to every single thing. And I get we can, you want supportive and genuine friends, but at the same time, we all have our own lives and things that we have to do and get done. There's just realistically, we won't be able to get the things we need to get done and stay focused if I'm on the phone with you for 2 hours a day talking about love and hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also just sticking our nose in other people's business, if giving unwanted advice. Sometimes we have to just be a listening ear. And also, as a friend, I can't call you and dump every single thing on you 24/7. I had to stop some friends from doing that. Listen, I know sometimes in our community, we don't like to go out and really talk to coaches and therapists and things like that, but that is necessary. So we can't call and just dump everything out on friends and stuff like that. It is very draining. So I think those are some unrealistic things that, I had to deal with, and I had to learn myself. I can't call and do those things to other people, and respecting others people's boundaries and and also having yours. So and being able to keep them in place, and and make those consequences when a person can't keep the boundaries, and vice versa. We have to hold ourselves the same as we do others as well. So hold yourself accountable. So
Girl, I love that, because honey, that's the one wanting to stay on the phone all day. Like, I can't do it. No. And you know what's funny for me, my experience in the past with, my female friends is they don't expect me to be who I am with them, but it's okay for me to be who I am with everybody else. Like, no, I'm gonna be the same with you too. And if you do something that I don't agree with, or I think that's out of line or out of pocket, I'm gonna speak on it. Just, you know what I mean? Like, I literally have female friends who love when I'm super, New York, as they say, and very bold and, very out there in my statements. But then when it's with them, they're like, well, don't bring that over here. Well, wait a minute. You like when I'm me everywhere else but with you? Like, no, I'm still going to be me with you too. And so that to me is such an unrealistic expectation. Like, everybody else, I can be myself, but with you, I have to be the version of me you want me to be. Like, no, it's not going to work for me, sis. Like, no, nope. But yeah, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you, Cameron, because you smiling. So I'm curious to know. But
honestly, I don't have any like war story when it comes to female friends. I've been very fortunate in that the girlfriends who I have, they are my sisters, like from another mother, of course. But I've been fortunate to have female friends who are a safe container for me, and I am a safe container for them, which is why we have been able to maintain our friendships for as long as they have. And not all my girlfriends live near me. So we may not talk on the phone every single day, every single week, but when we do pick up the phone and we do communicate with each other, it's as if time has not lapsed between the time that we last spoke. And everybody's supportive of each other. So I'm very grateful for my girlfriends. I really am.
That's such a blessing, because even in that, there are so many, there are so many of us who are connected to women and don't really have those friendships because of their expectations. Like, oh, if we don't talk every day, you're not my friend. Right. That is a really unfair expectation, because people have to live, right? They have life. And I'll just use myself for an example. Right now, I'm in a really, really bad season. I'm in a very tough season. I'm going through a lot personally, professionally, mentally, emotionally. And I just don't have the time to be on the phone. I'm not returning people's texts. I literally have like 31 texts sitting on my phone right now. It is just not, I'm not in the headspace to respond and engage. Some of my friends, they get it. They're just like, okay, this is one of those seasons where Tima's retreating and she's working on herself and dealing with self. And I have some friends who are actually upset. Like, well, why you won't let me in? Why you won't tell me what's going on? And maybe I can help. That is very unfair. And that is an unrealistic expectation that your friends are supposed to let you in the inmost parts of what they're going through. Even friendships have boundaries. And so sometimes people just need their space and they need their time and they need that safe space from you and that understanding from you that she still loves me. She still rocks with me. She just ain't got, you know what I'm saying? I'm not her priority right now. Right. So Denise, I'm coming back to you because I see you shaking your head. So I'm coming back to you and then I'm going to come to you, Tanisha.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree with you. It's I've had so many friends, like people all since I was younger till now, college, everything. I've had so many friends and some people that shouldn't have been my friends or stayed a little longer than the season admitted. The thing is, a lot of people don't want you to grow. Like you were saying, Tima, they want you to be that version of I can't be that, Denise. I like to look at myself as a person that's growing constantly. And sometimes your friends just don't have it. We don't, you don't have the energy, you don't have, you're not in the space to do so. And that's okay. Like Cameron said, and when we do talk back, it'll be just like, nothing. It'll be back to normal. And you should know that as a friend, that once we do get back, there's nothing, that's going to stop us from being friends. But yeah, we just can't push our expectations in friendship, on other people. Just allow people to allow people to grow. You never know what somebody's going through, You can't expect other people to react to situations like you would. Where Tima may walk away and just go quiet. I may be one that want to vent and talk about it. You can't expect everybody to handle each situation the same. It's not going to happen.
That is so good, sis. Absolutely. Tanisha, I'm going to come over to you.
Well, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. I was going to talk about boundaries, and I was going to talk about the unrealistic expectations of just always having to be there, always having to be on the phone, always having to pick up the phone. And you find I've had friendships like that where everybody just always thought that I was accessible. Like my accessibility, they just depended on my accessibility. And then when I'm not, like, I'm more of the person that when I'm going through something, I am like a dog that goes under the porch. Like, I am silent. I am not talking. I don't want to talk. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to be out. I don't want to be at brunch. I am in a season of isolation. I am in a season of growth. I am in a cocoon waiting for my butterfly to emerge. So I need people that are around me that are going to give me the space to be me. That's all I ever ask for. Just give me the space to be me. Whether it's my girlfriends, my family, my relationship, I need the space to be me. And I had people that, it was just like, I just always had to answer the phone. I had to answer a text message. And after a while, it started stressing me out. Like, they're going to be upset. They're going to think they're going to think this. They're going to think that. They're going to think this. And then next thing you know, I'm like stressed. And I'm like, wait a second. I got to do what I need to do for me.
Right.
And then another thing is thinking that every event that you have, everybody has to attend. Now, the one thing that I will say in adverse to that, because I've had that on both sides, is that you do have those friendships that end up being more one-sided than the other. Like, you're always coming through for them. You're always at their stuff. And then you realize that when it's time for you to do your stuff, you're like, wait,
where are they?
They're just never there. They never show up. And after a while, you have to start to evaluate that. But then, like you said, I think it was Denise and Atima, you both said, you got to create boundaries. And boundaries only mean really basically where I end and where you begin. And it's really that simple, creating boundaries had to be big for me. I didn't have any. They were very loose. The dam was not up to let go of the tumultuous waters. But, as it related to friendships, like Cameron said, now the people that are around me are my sisters. And even now, the ones that are coming in, like, I consider Tima a friend now. Like, hey, this is my sister right here. Like, she called, I'm answering. She texts, I'm answering. And I'm making sure, like, Oh no, my good sis not about to. No.
Mhm.
So as long as the friendship is being reciprocated, that's where I think it would be more of a discrepancy than anything else. Make sure there's reciprocation and the
Mhm.
exchange that's going back and forth between friendships.
That's so good, sis. And I think we got a comment that came in relevant to the topic. So I definitely want to read that.
Is there something known as a wedding ring phenomenon? My best friend crossed the boundary and slept with my husband. Whoa, that's not crossing the
Whoa.
boundary. Never mind. Um,
Okay.
they both said it was a mistake and this happened 2 weeks ago. Oh my good sis, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am going through therapy, but it hurts so bad. What else should my sister, by the way, great topic. Okay.
Nisha, I'm gonna let you go first. Okay, wait. Go. She says.
And by the way, we've been close since middle school and we're in our mid 30s. Wow.
I'm gonna go ahead and pause for reaction.
Who
Okay.
would you like to go?
Tanisha, go ahead. Tanisha, go ahead, and then I'm gonna come to you, Cameron. Ooh, I gotta
Um,
let
I
me Google wedding ring phenomenon while
Yes,
y'all.
please. That's what I was
Let
gonna say
me
because I
Google
need to
that.
know
Go
what that
ahead.
is. But what I'm gonna tell you, sis, is this: that happened to me. My best friend slept with my husband, my first husband, not this husband, my first husband, and I was broken. So I got down to 90 pounds in 2 weeks. So I know the heartache that you're going through. Continue in your therapy. I know for a fact how much this hurts. Um, and here's the thing, when it happens with your best friend, you don't have your best friend to talk to about it. So not only did you use your best friend husband, you lost your other best friend at the same time. And so I know how devastating that can be. But she was never your friend. And that's just how you're going to have to move and grow from there. That woman was not really your friend, because friends, as much as we say, like, people hurt those they love all the time, there's just certain lines that should not be crossed. And she couldn't love you because she doesn't love herself.
That part.
So that part, like, if you that's how I found a way to forgive for me, is this woman didn't love herself. So there was no way she could love me, not more than she loved herself. And any woman that is willing to stoop that low doesn't have much self love. There's
Mm-mm.
something going on internally within them that needs to be healed. And so, I mean, I would just stay in therapy and, just, ooh, ooh, I'm like getting chills. Like, I just know how
Yeah.
bad I was devastated for a very long time. And I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to go see her. Like, where she at? I saw her at the movies one day. Everybody was trying to hold me back. Like, I just want to have a conversation with her. Everybody thought I wanted to fight her, but it wasn't even that I wanted to fight her. I really wanted to look in her eyes and go, why?
Why?
Why? What would make you even why? To
Right.
me, now somebody has it in them, but you never think they're gonna do it to you.
Right.
And when they cross that line, you're like, I knew you had it in you. So I even blame myself. I knew she had it in her, but I just never thought it would happen to me. I never thought she would
Mm-hmm.
do it to me,
Mm-hmm.
And so, listen, I had to go. Listen, I wasn't in therapy at that time. I was in church and I was in counseling for a very long time. I tell you that much. And, listen, sis, just keep your head up. Know that
Yeah.
this is not your fault. Know that this had nothing to do with you and everything to do with them.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
What's wedding ring phenomenon?
Okay, so I looked it up, and after I read this, I'm gonna come to you, Cameron. But it says it's also referred to as the wedding ring effect, and it's when a man is that much more attractive or appears more attractive because of his wedding ring. And I had some comments on that, but I'm gonna go to the other ladies first,
Okay, I like that.
and I'm gonna come back to you. But go ahead, Cameron. I think you're
You're
muted.
muted, Cameron.
Sorry. Really, the only thing that I have to offer the sister is my condolences. Seriously, because it's a death of
It's a
your
death.
marriage and a death of your friendship. I applaud you for being in therapy. Continue with that inner work, and heal yourself. And yeah, that's tough. I feel for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry that
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. It's nothing you can say. It's just, whoo.
No,
Yeah.
nobody deserves that.
Real.
No one.
At all. I'm coming over you, Miss Woods. Sorry.
We're going to talk about the wedding ring phenomenon.
Any part of her question or comment that you want to address is totally fine.
I just, I feel like, we're all human beings, right? And I don't know the dynamic that she had with her friend. Obviously, it was very estranged and uncertain and brought up a lot of trauma. See, I'm speaking from like a perspective, like how could people do things to us that are unimaginable, right? When we really believe that we have a grasp or hold on our relationship with someone, and then something goes way left field, and we're like, wow, I thought we really knew that person. I think at the end of the day, we always have to hold true to ourselves that people are just people, and hurt people, right? And the people closest to you are the ones that seek validation, and you're the anger. It's so much. Right. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Yeah. Perfect. I'm so not, right? The human we're going through, we just have to give ourselves. We have to take a step back and look at decisions that we make, why we make them, and I think we're talking about the on the panel with Denise, boundaries and expectations, just our whole conditioning. We have to be mindful of. Life kind of plays itself out, and we have to kind of bob and weave and kind of keep moving forward, and not judgment. You know what I mean? Now, like we could be like, oh, what a trifle, but wow, that was your really good friend. You let her really close to your heart. How could something like this happen? Did she have a moment, and I guess that's the therapist in me that's always kind of looking at things from outside of myself. I can't say if I was in it that I would say the same stuff, but I'm on the outside, looking in. But it's unfortunate that happened, and you're talking about a husband. It's not just a boyfriend or just like someone that's a real boundary, right? Boundary issue that she crossed. Yeah. I don't think that that's someone I would ever want to be in a space with, someone that I think I have to move on in this journey with, because that is just indicative of the fact that I don't know what is inside of me that thought, you know what I mean? That I don't know. I feel like we bring things to it. I don't believe that, everything that happens, even when it's bad, that, we deserve it. But I'm just saying, like, we have to learn from it. And so that's a big, devastating thing when that's your best friend. So, I mean, I feel bad, and she should learn and understand, have some compassion for her friend and give her some grace and let them both go, not just one and think it's going to be fine. Because that's just like way too much. When you go way far in, like your friend, that's you've crossed too many lines. So,
yeah, that's well, my only advice to you, sis, is, like you said, it's only been 2 weeks. And we're talking about unrealistic expectations. Don't expect to be over this. Don't expect to know how to feel. Don't expect to give either of them a response. I mean, yeah, they said it was a mistake, whatever. You know what I mean? Don't feel obligated to respond to them, to accept their calls or their apologies, anything. Don't even put those expectations on yourself. Right now, you need to focus on you, because I can't even imagine, like, you were betrayed. You were betrayed by 2 people. And I know a lot of my sisters are saying they're immediately going to the best friend, but husband knew better too. They both disrespected you. They both betrayed you. And so you need double the amount of grace for yourself. You need double the amount of time to heal, stay in therapy. You're asking what else you can do. therapy. Baby steps, sis. Don't keep looking to do more because you don't owe nobody else but yourself. So the more that you're saying, like, what else can I do? You're doing all that you can do. The fact that you're on tonight and listening, that lets me know that you got your head up tonight. That is enough. If you don't do nothing else today, that was enough. The fact that your head is up and that you're on this show and you're listening and you're receiving. Take the time that you need. Don't rush this process. Don't rush your healing because you were like literally cut in a deep place. So it's going to take more than some, stitching and love. You need time. You need to, what I'm saying, really evaluate how it made you feel wholeheartedly. So don't rush this at all. Continue to journal your feelings, talk, what I'm saying, to people that you trust, trained therapists, trained professionals. If you have a mentor or a pastor, someone you can talk to. Don't you dare let nobody rush you at all. That's the one bit of advice I could give you. When I was cheated on, with someone close to me, I don't rush this. Take your time and deal. You don't even know how you feel. Because honestly, it's been 2 weeks. You might feel hurt today. A week from now, you're going to be pissed. And you're going to be like, what the? And then a week after that, you're going to be back to feeling hurt and betrayed and broken. So it's deal and feel so that you can heal. I know that sounds real cliche, but boo-boo, I'm in therapy and it works, okay? So please don't rush. That's my advice. Do not rush. Wow.
Can I say something really quickly? I think that when we love people like our friends, our best friends, we expose them to parts of ourselves that other people don't have accessibility to, obviously, right? And it could be our husbands, our boyfriends, people that we love, and we're saying, "Yo, we're all family, and I'm trusting you with my heart because this is a vulnerable space. This is where I'm stepping out of all the boundaries and all the lines, and so I'm bringing you in." And so when someone comes and they violate that and they make a connection, unbeknownst to us, obviously, right? And we don't even know how that, it's mind blowing. You can question everything about yourself, so I understand that, that's I can't even imagine, we all have these rules and boundaries, but not everybody does. And everybody goes with the energy and I don't know, lust and whatever else stuff that they're going with, but it's painful. And it feels like a death, and you're going to grieve it because the reality is your relationship with your best friend will never be the same. Whether you make it work, make it not work, it's never going to be the same. It's very violated, and it doesn't feel safe. So I'm sorry for that.
That's good. Wow.
So what?
It often feels like my friend expects not friendship, but marriage-like behavior from me. She constantly confronts me and tells me how hurt she is that I can't give her everything she wants and am not in the state of mind to reciprocate every single action. She's treating me like her spouse. It's really exhausting, and I just recently came to the conclusion that I need to make sure that she knows that. It's really exhausting, and it makes me feel bad, anxious, and pressured all the time. I don't know if I can stay friends with her if this continues. There are a lot of friendships like that where the standards and the expectations are so high. I remember being a little younger and having these friendships where you go out with another friend and another friend feels violated. Girl, stop. Like, that is so old and played. Like, at this age, it's like, oh, who's that? That can't be your other friend because me and you are friends. And then they're competitive when they're out with you together. And if you say, oh, I went to brunch with such and such, it's like, well, why didn't you invite me? Well, like, our relationships are separate. I don't have to invite you to everything that I'm going with her, or vice versa. And some people can, in their friendships, get to be almost possessive like that, because that's not even good in a marriage. Like, a spouse doesn't even necessarily treat you like that, where everything has to be done in the way that they think that it should be done. So that's not even like the expectations are high. That's just like can be deemed as a possessive relationship, where now what you do, where you're at, who you're with needs to be sanctioned by them in order for it to be okay.
Right.
I had to get rid of those type of friendships a very long time ago. Like, there is no need for jealousy. There's no need for insecurity. There is no need for any of that. If I'm going out with this one, it's fine. I don't love you any less. If I go out with this one, I don't love you any less. If I'm on the phone with someone and the other one clicks over, now who you decide to talk to, who you decide to hang up with first, as opposed to the other one, you're like, well, why'd you hang up with me? Why? Because she called. Oh my God. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. Right. Nobody needs that type of pressure in a friendship type situation at all. And I know for me, I had to just create a boundary for that. Like, listen, it is what it is. I'm going to be with who I want to be, when I want to be there, whenever I want to be there. Right. And that's just how it has to go, you know, and you got to take that or you got to leave that, you know, at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else have a comment?
I was thinking to myself that, you know, you are a lot healthier. You're than a lot of people, right? You have just come from a certain place or upbringing, and when people are really stifled, and the interpersonal stuff, that is where they struggle the most. They're right. Trying to differentiate between friendships and relationships and this. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. And there's all these questions, and it's so entangled and it's so hard. And so you are a very solid, it's obvious, but I know that you know both because, you know, you do a lot of work. But if you actually think about these people that really have no formulation of their identity, right? And so they're always looking to other people to say, oh, this is who I am. That's who I am. Unless you do this and let validation, approval, and all that other stuff. It is such hard life. It is such a hard situation, especially not just for women. I think I'm always focused on women. I have no idea what it feels like to sit in a man's shoes and all that, because we have these expectations, especially our Black men. We're like, wait, you're a king, but life hasn't shown them that, right? It goes back generations and generations, you know, and so that's where we go with these expectations. And so I just think that we just need to allow a space for people to just be raw, authentic, and who they are. We get to decide how we want to move, how we want to shift. But we also have to understand that when things are uncomfortable, maybe that's us evolving. Because I don't want to stay in my comfort zone anymore. Like, you know what I mean? The more we're in our comfort zone, that means we can control and predict. And that feels good, because why wouldn't it, right? But I want to like jump off the cliff every now and again. I want to know what it's like to just close my eyes and jump in out of the comfort zone, because that's how I'm going to expand and stretch and grow. And I literally think that what all of us are saying has really just encompassed our entire life experience. And that's how we live. And so when we can sit on platforms like this and take all of us and just be like, wow, now I get to see so many amazing different perspectives, right? And I love it. And I'm very blessed to be able to hear all of this and to be a part of it. But, you know.
Absolutely. Oh, we got another comment.
Ugh, we want to go there.
You're muted, sis. T, you muted.
Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Do you feel that some parents put unreal expectations on their children based off the parents' own shortcomings, or the parents not living up to their past expectations? Ooh.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And thank you, Carl, for that question. I mean, that comment, those questions, because it actually pivots and segues into our next unrealistic expectation category, which is community. So we're dealing with family, we're dealing with us. But yes, absolutely. Anybody want to tackle that one first?
I will. Go ahead. Really quick. So, you know, I have a daughter, she's 12. And I say, hey, when I get home, I want you to make sure your room is clean. It's that simple, right? For her, she did the best of her ability. I walk in, I'm like,
Shari, your phone is breaking up. Your
frozen.
Your reception is breaking up. So I'm gonna actually go to Cameron while you fix that, and then we'll come right back to you, because we only have about 30 minutes left. So Cameron, go ahead, and then while Shari is working on her phone signal will come to you.
So I come from a family of educators, and when I was working on my undergrad, my mom was like, well, just, go on straight through, get your master's. I didn't. I was tired. I was ready to make money, so I just didn't do it. But then I, getting into the mental health field, working with adolescents, I was like, all right, now it's time for me to, bump up my education, go get my master's. So when I got my master's, my mom was like, go on and get your PhD. Like, heck no, because I literally walked across the stage pregnant and delivered my daughter a few weeks later after getting that master's. So I was pregnant while, working on an education. I had a newborn. Heck no, I was not going to go back and get my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something my mother, always wanted for us. And, I just had to just flat out say, that's not my goal. That's not my dream to have a PhD. I've reached my cap as it relates to formal education. I'm good. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy with making that choice. So yes, I do understand expectations coming from parents, but they mean well. They just want the best for us. But at the end of the day, you really have to take accountability for what's going to work for you, for your life, and stand firm in it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think what I witnessed the most, and I'm probably going to piss some people off, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't, right? So I think where this becomes borderline unhealthy in terms of unrealistic expectations that parents have on their children is when they are raising a boy and they put a basketball or a football in his hand and force him to play because that's what they want. They want their big house and their NBA, NFL son to pay for it. And I have a nephew who is being forced to play a sport that he has zero desire to play. Is he good? Yes. But is the desire there? No. And he's forced to play instead of doing the things that he really wants to do. He's into music. He wants to learn to play an instrument. He wants to learn to speak another language. But his parents will not support it and not fund it because it's not what they think he needs to be doing. And so to me, that is not only unrealistic, but that is unhealthy.
Yes,
That's going to breed resentment. And again, if you wanted hoop dreams, you should have went and played basketball. Your baby don't want to play basketball, and I literally cannot stand when I see that. I see it all the time at these little league games, the kid pouting the whole way to the field, the whole way, and the father or the mom is just forcing him because of the dream that they have. And again, I do agree some parents mean well, but some are really just selfish. And it's more so what they want for their children and not what their children want. I'm a big proponent at listening to my kids. They're not stupid. If you know what I'm saying, if your kids are stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's on you. My children are not dumb. So I will ask my 6-year-old, what is it that interests you? What do you enjoy doing? She all over the board. I got to help her, kind of bring it in. But I'm doing what she wants to do. I'm supporting what she wants. And that's something that we fail to do as parents, those unrealistic expectations that we put on our kids. Or we want them to bring nothing but straight A's home. Did you bring nothing but straight A's home?
Right.
I'm not saying don't encourage that. Let that be the standard. But if your baby goes from B or C, my follow-up question is, did you try your best?
That's right.
It's your best? Then put that C on the refrigerator. Mommy is proud of you. And that's something that we have to stop doing to our kids because it literally creates these mental stigmas and they have this anxiety. Like, I see it all the time, kids with anxiety in the classroom. And then it's not because of the teacher or the institution or the test. It's because of the thinking of what is going to be like when I get home if I don't pass this or I don't exceed or excel. So that's my comment.
I agree.
It is what it is. I said what I said. I'm going to have something to say, but
I totally agree, Natima. And I also wanted to add, so my Cameron was saying, she came from a family of educators, and like her mom was saying, get your PhDs, and she said, I'm capped out. So my family never actually told me what to be in life, like my career. But me and my mother, when I was younger, never got along because I was not like her. So I am more if I'm not doing something like this, I am introverted, meaning that I speak when spoken to. I speak when there's something to be said. I'm not a chatterbox. When you go outside and you meet me, I'm not everybody's friend. Like my mother, everybody she met was a friend. Hey girl, what's your name? Then she would look at me, what's her name again? I'm like, Ma, I don't know. Like, well, you was acting like you knew her. Oh, I don't know that lady. I made it see her one time, and we were so different. And I'll never forget, I was 26 years old. I had just graduated from aesthetic school. It was my birthday and Mother's Day. And she was a minister, and she got on the pulpit and she said, I just want to let my daughter know how proud I am of her. She said, but she went into our relationship and how we didn't used to get along. And she was like, and I have to apologize to you because I judged you based on who I thought you should be. Like, I'm this kind of person. I'm talkative. I'm always the life of the party. But me, I want to stay in a house. I don't go nowhere. I am an introvert. Like, I am the introverts of introverts. I am home with my head in a book, writing something, or tucked away in a blanket with some wine. I don't want to be outside. I don't like dealing with people. They drain me. I'm an empath. Like, I can't be in huge crowds. I will get like weird. So we were so different. And so that made me realize, growing up with my own children, I even had to express this to my husband. I said, our children have their own purpose in this life and in this world. And our job is to find that and cultivate that, not to make them what we want them to be. Because our parents, at day's end, they did the best they could with what they had. So, and that's how you can move past without resentment. They did the best they could with what they had. Some of them were uneducated, didn't know how to raise kids. Like I said, the two most important things in the world, which is getting married and having a child, there's no class for it. So how are we supposed to know what to do? We just out here on a wing and a prayer, hoping for the best, and raising little people in the process to become adults. And I have an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old. He cannot stand sports. My husband comes from a sports family. My son is an academic. He is super smart. All he cares about is reading. He's in a coding class. He learned how to code and build video games. He does not want to be in nobody's basketball court, football field. He wants to party. And so once I realized that, I said, I looked at all my children, and I looked at how different they all are. One is super ambitious. One is super laid back. One is super smart and academic wise. Like, my job is to look at that, evaluate that, and then help them to cultivate the gifts that they already have. We are already born with our gifts. We're already born with them. So all we have to do is tend to it like a garden, grow it up, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And if not, they'll find their way, because life is a school and it teaches us lessons, and we all learn and grow and evolve. And I realized, like, I can't protect my kids from everything. So, hey, get out here, live your best life, do the best you can. And as long as you're doing that, that's all I can ask for, honestly.
I love that too. Love that.
Most parents only wish good and happiness on their children. If you are good and happy, then you're most definitely not letting your mama down. I wish there were things I could still say to my mama even years after she has been gone, but I can hear what she would say to me, and I can even hear it in her voice. Aw, I feel like that too. I hear my mother all the time.
That's dope. That's dope. So we're talking about community, right? We already transitioned to community about parents and their unrealistic expectation of their kids. I want to ask a question about unrealistic expectations as it relates to community from like a business standpoint, right? What I mean by that is, entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs have like spiked in the last couple of years. As a result of COVID, we've seen a swell of, entrepreneurs. And a lot of that is in the BIPOC community, and many are women, right? but I witnessed the unrealistic expectation that either one, we feel like we should get discounted services or products because it's Black owned, or two, the owner of the establishment or business or whatever feels like they can kind of cut corners because they're serving the Black community.
Right.
So I really want to talk about that for a minute because that's a personal pet peeve of mine. It pisses me off when one, we kind of fall below the standard of excellence and we feel we can because it's like, oh well, we're Black owned, so y'all are supposed to support me anyway. I don't have to because you should support because I'm Black owned. And then two, when we do support Black owned, we want it discounted. Like we want it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just put that out there. I said what I said. I'm gonna come to you first. I'm gonna come to you, Tanisha.
Well, this is a tough one because everything that you said was 100% correct. And as an entrepreneur myself, there's a lot of things like as an entrepreneur having a business, a real brick and mortar business, you have to operate at a standard of excellence at all times. I don't care if you white, Black, Asian, Indian, I don't care because if I walk into a Chinese restaurant and they talk to me crazy, I'm out and I'm not paying for this food. I don't want it. I'm out. Bye. If I walk into an establishment and they don't say hello to me within a certain amount of minutes, you don't appreciate my business. I'm out. Right. But then again, I teach this, I have to teach it because I teach budding professionals. But the thing of it is customer service will always be key. And just because some people slack in customer service does not mean that should end up being the standard across the board. Right. Like, oh, well, and here's a good one because I'm tired of hearing this too. Oh, well, y'all still go to McDonald's and Wendy's and first of all, that's a corporation. We're not going to compare corporations to mom and pop. Right. Two different genres, two different things. Them corporations are hiring high school people and people that couldn't get jobs elsewhere. Like that's what they're hiring. So yes, you're going to deal with bad customer service. They're being paid minimum wage to do it. But when you are having a business and you're charging, whether it's soul food, whether it's beauty business, whether it's, authoring, and you're charging more, there is a standard that has to come with what you're charging. Like, I mean, stuff isn't rocket science to me. Like, you want to charge $95 for that service, $210 for that service, but then I get there and you late?
That part. Right.
You want me to pay a deposit to book my appointment with you, and then so that I don't miss my appointment, but then you get to call me and say that you're changing it. Do I get my deposit back?
Right.
Like, come on. Like, this is getting ridiculous now. It's like, come on, y'all. Business, everybody, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're supposed to have a business doing it.
Ooh, that part.
Okay? Because some people need to go to business class, business management, so that you can learn how to actually run a business and not just do your skill. Because your skill and running a business are two different skills.
That's right.
And some people don't possess both. You got other people that are great at running a business and not so good at their skill, but their business is more successful just because they're good at running a business. And then listen, I should be able to come to you. And so how much is that? Oh, well, I thought so you're going to give me a deal? No, I'm not. Because this is my time, this is my schooling, and this is my effort. And that's not discounted.
That's right.
Catch me when I'm running a special, but if not, then it's not discounted. I'm not discounting no services. I'm not discounting what I do. You know what I'm saying? And the audacity of people to expect for you to last I checked, fast food didn't discount the money I got to pay them back because Uncle Sam is coming.
Right.
So the money I spent to go to school to be able to do what I could do, now you want to lowball me? Not happening. Not over here. We have to do better with that. Get our service together, how we're going to operate with the people, And then the people that are supporting have to not always want us to give away.
Right.
Like, support us like you would support any other business.
Right.
Like, even with friends, like, I think that's so rude when like a friend wants you to discount, but then if I said no, you got to go get it somewhere else anyway, and you got to pay full price.
Right.
So now if I'm going to offer you something, let me offer it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't ask me. That's rude. Like, please disrespect people's crafts and their business. Like, don't always expect to get something for free or get something at a discounted rate. Like, we have to do better. We have
to. Absolutely. And it looks like we have some comments that we have a couple comments coming in.
Hello, my DBDS sisters. What if I am a non-drinker and prefer to be with a non-drinker? Is that unrealistic? I mean, I don't force drinkers to quit, just waiting for a non-drinker. Break it down for me.
Again, I think that's more of a preference.
It's a preference. And where are you meeting him? Because you can't meet him at a bar and want a non-drinker.
Exactly.
You know, but where are you meeting him? Hopefully it's the grocery store somewhere, maybe online. But I mean, I had those standards too. I don't want a guy that's drinking a lot, and I definitely don't want a guy that smokes. Like, I think that's a preference. I think it's a standard. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we put boundaries on people that are so concrete, it's black or white. I don't do this, so this person should do this. And if they do this, then I'm not going to be able to vibe with them. The reality is you have to ask yourself, why are you so passionate and so indignant about a certain circumstance? And why does that make you feel safe? And what work do you have to do on yourself where you can set a boundary, where you say you don't have to always begin and end with another person? You understand? So when people have those really, really constricting type of boundaries on people, it's because it's a trauma that they don't want to have to dive into. They don't want to have to be exposed to, because they're just not, they want to keep everything accordance to what makes them feel comfortable. So this is what we talk about when we're talking about boundaries. We're talking about unrealistic expectations. How do you know that person who has a drink every now and again is not the person that you're supposed to just be like, that might be your person? And so that's the thing with putting this whole box and confinements and just, black or white, thinking. I just feel like, I don't know, if everybody gets attuned to just feeling energy, we have to trust ourselves. We have a certain time on this earth, right? Where we just have to be like, okay, our life experiences taught us something about something. And so we're going to gravitate and move towards stuff that makes sense. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to make complete sense, but it's going to step you to move forward. And it's also going to keep you from moving back. And if you have to take it to, a couple steps back, it's fine. But I think we just have to be a little bit, black and white, all that stuff. Everything that we think, everything that we do comes from our own perspective, our own lens, only from what we've experienced. So we have to be very mindful and careful, because the world and life and people are so much bigger than what's in our peripheral. Like, it's so much bigger. And if we can just expand ourselves to say, we're going to trust ourselves to just go on this path. It might be foreign, it might be unbeknownst to us, but let's just go on it, because it could be magical and amazing. We trust ourselves and our life experience enough to go on it. We're not, ridiculous in our thought process. But I this black and white, the boundaries, the unrealistic expectations, let's just be ourselves, right? As we evolve, as we we stay up at night like, oh, why this, why that? Just sit in your space and be yourself, and whatever comes into it, just trust and believe that the universe, God, it's bringing you that experience. And you have to just embark on it. Just see what, and if your energy's like that, that's all you have to do, right?
I definitely like what you're saying is taught in terms of like evolution and evolving and maturing. I think the only thing I disagree with when it comes to having preferences is you made a statement about trusting yourself. I trust that as a pescatarian, I'm not going to a restaurant and ordering steak because I don't eat steak. It's just not what I do. You get what I'm saying? Like that is my diet restrictions. I have those same restrictions in dating. I think smoking is a disgusting habit.
Right.
I am not gonna date someone who smokes for the simple fact that I think it's a bad habit personally. Where you talked about like evolution. Now that I agree with. I think as we mature and as we learn more about ourselves and we kind of match that and align that with our experiences, our view on what we want should change. But I think there are some things that are going to be concrete, and not necessarily because it's black and white, but because life has made it gray. Like I'll use it as an example. When I married my first husband, we were 18 when we started dating. He wore a lot of Rocawear. I mean, little Jay-Z, okay? He wore so much Rocawear. At 18, that was cute. At 18, I'm a grown woman. Don't you come pick me up for no date in no baggy jeans. You get what I'm saying? And it's not about expectation. It's a like I prefer to date a grown man that looks like a grown man. I prefer to date someone or be in a relationship with someone that doesn't have a life-threatening habit like smoking. So, because I don't want to be your caregiver, I want to be your partner. I want to be on planes and the emergency. You get what I'm saying? So I completely agree. I love that you said we gotta trust ourselves and we have to go off the vibe and the energy. I totally agree. So that whole, he gotta be 6 foot. I was just in a relationship with a dope man who was only 5'11". And I wanted me a 6 footer because that's what I used to have. I'm used to dating taller men. This brother was only 5'11". Adored him. So you get what I'm saying? So I completely agree with you on those, preferences or standards or expectations. But when it comes to some of those major ones, like, no,
I agree.
It's gonna be a, hard one.
Because like here's the thing. Certain things can be like, okay, so like I 100% agree too. I do that's my thing is energy. Like you got to flow with what feels good to you. At the same time, there are certain things like, that for instance, like let's say concrete smoking. All right. Here's the thing. I look at things in the bigger picture, and I'm never going to try to change a person once I'm already with them, because now at this point, I already knew what I was dealing with. And then trying to get into the relationship and change their habit once they already have it, it's kind of like you signed up for this. You knew I was doing this when we started. Now it's like you want to talk about me smoking, but I look at the long picture. Like, first of all, once you get that hole in your neck, deuces, because I told you to stop this smoking. Like now I gotta wheel you around because
no.
Like, listen, I wish I was joking. I'm so serious. I
think I've misconducted what I'm saying. I am like the biggest, like nobody can even be around me. My standards are disgustingly high. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just saying, like, we already have our stuff.
Right? Shari, your internet again.
Yeah. So she's frozen. Denise, I'm gonna come to you real quick so that we can come back.
Sorry, because she was about to get in. She was about to get in. My hand was like, y'all, I'm about to go in.
I was about to get in. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
okay, now we can.
Yes.
I was about to get in. Everything that you guys are saying, are you kidding me? I am like, listen, that's already there. Like, you're not going to do I have a certain standard. Absolutely. You don't even, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can hear you.
You can't even people just, hi. No, to be in like the, things, that takes it's a lot of, and at first of all, just like you said, you're not going to be I don't want to hole in your neck. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want you to, so yeah, I get that. But all I'm saying is, actually, I mean, because I'm still stuck on like everything you guys are saying is making sense, and I'm still guilty of unrealistic expectations. Like there's right. There are certain things I'm not going to settle for. But what I've learned the most with being almost 5 years single is that I need to sit in a space where I'm like, wait, that feels kind of like home. But then again, is home always the safest place? But I've developed myself and evolved myself to a point where I created my own home inside of my heart. And whenever my heart feels, because I trust myself, right? Whenever it feels it's just going smooth, and there's going to be some conflict, but I can navigate that. But all I want to do is be at peace, right? That's where we're at. But I have to let go of belief systems and narratives and cognitions and all that, right?
Right. No, yeah, we agree with that wholeheartedly. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's not easy. It's not
no,
easy.
Ma'am.
No.
And
Denise,
so
we're gonna come to you. I know you had a comment before.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, this one is tough here because like Sherry was saying, you don't want to be so to where you can't meet anybody because you have these restrict rules. But at the same time, what Tanisha was saying is makes perfect sense too, because if you get in a relationship with the person that's a drinker or a smoker and it gets to be extreme, or you're looking to make them change later on down the line because it agitates or aggravates you, or their health is declining, then you're looking at an issue there. And you knew they smoked beforehand, so you definitely want to make sure, if he's a drinker, what are the things that you will stretch on? Is he a drinker, but he drinks socially here and there, or just no drinking at all? What is it?
Right.
Make sure you don't have any traumas, laying there, like Sherry was saying, that was your dad or mom an alcoholic? Did you, used to, you seen some bad things? So it's all something to think about. I think all of you ladies brought up some really good perspectives, but you definitely don't want to go in something with somebody and expecting them to change, because they may or may not. So, and then they may have, the whole, as Tanisha said, but yeah.
But the last thing you want to do is judge somebody because of their coping method, how they're surviving. You kind of say, oh, they're a drinker, they're a smoker. They're just not a drinker or a smoker. There's a reason. That's just a behavior. That's put on the same day, take a shower. That's just behavior. But what root of it and why the issue? You know what I mean? We can't just pass people as a smoker.
I think Shari, your thing went out, but I think, okay, so here's the thing. So what I'm hearing, right, is that you're looking at it, which is fine from a therapist perspective. But we're looking at it from, this is going to be my life partner perspective. I gotta pass you up. I don't know how, I'm not judging you because your coping mechanism is yours. I'm not, but I do get to choose whether I want to be in a relationship with you. You know what I'm saying? Me being your life coach and me being your wife are two different things.
I guess I'm speaking on.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying, where it's no judgment, because when somebody comes to me to talk to me about their situation, you get what I'm saying? There's never going to be any judgment for why they're doing what they're doing. I would never judge that. But if I'm looking for my life partner or somebody I want to embark on a relationship with, I do get to choose.
Yeah.
What I decide to be in a space with or not. Now, again, this question is very vague. I'm a non-drinker.
Thank you for giving a different. I was all on one side, and I understand why that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I love what Denise said about, we get in the relationship with the person knowing this is something we don't like, or we'd rather them not do, or this person not have this habit. And then we think we can change them later. And, we used to see it with the whole, the dude dating a stripper and he don't want to be a stripper no more. Boo-boo. You met me here. You met her on the pole. Now stop. You know what I'm saying? Let that girl make her point. So, I totally agree. If you are going to decide, yes, this is someone I'm going to move forward in a relationship with, knowing I'd rather not be with this person that has this habit, then that's on you. That falls on you now, because you're not going to change them. They have to want to change themselves, or you have the right to say, sorry, you're not my type, because I don't want to be with someone who drinks. So I totally get it. So we have some more comments coming in. And then we're going to hit a commercial.
Okay. Met this girl last week. First time went well. Second time she said, I was fully sold on you, but now I'm only half sold because I'm too much of a gentleman. I told her good luck with finding a good man.
Oh, it's like,
to me, the height thing is absolutely crazy to me. So many women skip over great men based on them not being tall enough. My height does not mean I cannot protect you. I am a skilled martial artist.
Okay, I know that's right.
He said,
it's like you're gonna stop sleeping on me because I'm
let me prove it to you.
Vertically challenged and can still protect you.
Okay. Hey, DBDS sisters, can you make a video about platonic friendships and females having male friends in general, and when it comes to working environment and friends that were there before you? Oh, come on, Atima.
We're going to have another 2-hour episode on that, because y'all know I am very rare, and I'm one of the rare ones who I have male friends, and I've always had male friends. I was married for 10 years and had my male friends the entire marriage. I've been in, relationships since that marriage ended, and I still got my male friends. And so I'm a big proponent of platonic friendships. I believe that they can happen. So yes, we will. Mel, y'all heard that they want what they want, and we're going to deliver what they want. We will have a conversation on platonic friendships. I think that's going to be a really dope dialogue.
I will just say, in my mature years of life, I have had a lot of great guy friends, deep type of relationships. But at the end of the day, there was always a time they were shooting their shot, though. It was never, and that's why I'm like, because someone's being vulnerable to you. That's just experience. So I don't know how another man could feel threatened if you have like this male best friend. But like you just said, that you have these relationships and they were there, they're still there. I still have mine too, but if they could, they would, right? But maybe not. I don't know. They could, they would.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people say that to me. They're like, Tima, if you ever gave any of them a chance, I've never experienced that. Like, I've never been romantically involved, never even had a drunk kiss or anything with my male friends. And I'm like their little sister. Like, literally, it's more like a brother-sister relationship. Like, I have one of my male friends. He's like my big brother. He will stop what he's doing, and him and his wife will jump on the road and drive down here for me. Like, and his wife came after our friendship. Like, he met his wife, as we were friends. Me and her got to know each other. Like, me and her are friends because of our friendship, my friendship with her husband. And the dopest thing is she's not threatened because she understands the history. This has been my best friend since I was 17 years old. Like, if I wanted him, it probably would have happened, or vice versa, and it never happened because we just don't look at, like, he's literally my brother. Like, I could never. So anyway, I think that would be such a dope topic.
Yep.
I really do. So we do have some commercials, and then we are going to have our Jerry Springer moment, aka our final thoughts on the subject. So y'all stay tuned and come right back for these final thoughts from us.
Yes.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here where mask wearing where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How do we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
We are back. Welcome back, man. Listen, we have been over 2 hours. It has been
I can't believe it.
Because it's just flowing. The discussion has been amazing. Of course, thank you to our DBDS family who's been here with us. We saw there were some comments that we didn't get to read, but we will check them out and we'll respond directly, or we'll make sure that we can read them the next time we do a similar show. So right now is what we like to call the Jerry Springer moment. I'm going to call on each of our queens, our guests, to give their last bit of advice, feedback, whatever motivation or inspiration you want to drop for our friends and family. And then we're going to close out the show. So I'm gonna come to you first, Denise.
All right. So I'm just gonna leave y'all with this, unrealistic expectations. Just go in with an open mind. Still have your standards. But just going with an open mind. Don't leave room for error. Don't expect everything to be perfect. Lead with love. But have your standards. Know what it is that you know out of life, out of a partner. Know yourself. So when you do meet somebody and you guys discuss and talk about those things during that dating phase or getting to know someone, even on a friendship level, these things will be discussed ahead of time. So you both know what it is that you're looking for out of that relationship, which will help it run smooth. Of course, no relationship is perfect. So, just leave room for error and communicate with one another. Don't have those high expectations. Just get to know want to get to know each other, and just have those standards, have those boundaries. But you gotta keep those standards though. Mm-hmm. You gotta keep those standards because it can lead to a lot of disappointment later and high expectations. Let your partner know what it is that you're expecting, even if they aren't high. Please be realistic. Even if they aren't high, let your partner know what it is that you're expecting. If you're a woman that expects to travel, a few times out the year, let your husband know that, or your woman. If you're a man and you're expecting your woman to cook, whatever these everybody's expectations are different, but let your partner or your friends know what it is that you're expecting and vice versa. So it won't be no miscommunication. So a moment.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, sis. That was good. Shari, I'm gonna come over to you.
So I just think I'm going to just be really transparent and see-through, and just like we all, I just want to speak personally that, like I said before, expectations can lead to disappointments. And I think for me, next month, I will literally be single for 5 years. I mean, God knows I don't have to be single, right? It's a choice. The reality is, I think taking that time, that season of isolation, to really sit in those dark spaces, to really sit alone and not be comfortable with it because you've never experienced that, and wake up with grabbing onto your, let's hold on for the ride because it's just me and you. And I'm going to love you, and I'm going to learn to love you, and I'm going to trust you. And I've never been in a space like that before because I was always looking for everything outside of myself to fulfill me and to make me feel safe. And so now I'm charting different territories. And it has been, even now, it's amazing, but I still wake up shaking because this is a journey, and I'm just in it, figuring it out. So if I will say anything, I will just say expectations are ridiculous. Have expectations of yourself, but be cautious and be mindful that you are just a human being and you will make mistakes and you're just going to do things over and over again until it feels right with you. And so that's it. Let's just not be so hard on ourselves. Let's not carry shame, and let's just accept ourselves like, yes, this is where we're supposed to be. You know, so that's where I'm at. And
love that, Shari. Thank you. Cameron, I'm gonna come over to you.
So I'm a big self-reflecting person. So, you know, I'm always asking myself a question before I ask someone else a question. And the only thing I can say when it comes to expectations of someone else is, would you have those same expectations of yourself?
Ooh, that's good.
Because at the end of the day, you know, we're not garments to be taken to an alterationist to be cut up and, you know, I'll buy it at the store. I really don't like it, but I'm going to take it somewhere and get it to where I want it to be. You know, we're all just here trying to figure things out for ourselves, you know, and it's like, don't set yourself up nor the other person up to fail and be disappointed by expecting them to do something you wouldn't expect of yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's good. No, that's a word. My sis, Tanisha, the professor.
Listen, so Cameron took the first part of my thing because that is just always where I'm at. If I have an expectation of something, do I first expect it of myself? I am very big on what you put out, you get back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm big on the seeds that I sow into life, so that I know what my return should be. A lot of times we don't like to look at life like practical like that, but it actually is like what you put out, you get back, and you got to look for it where it's coming back. Like you're not going to necessarily see where it's coming back from. But the second thing that I wanted to say, and that was for the accountability part, for like the expectations that I'm putting on somebody else, at least be willing to operate in those same things myself. But the second part is, which I've realized this, and I'm just going to share with you guys what I do in my own relationships and in my own marriage, is I don't have expectations. I am always in a state of appreciation because nobody has to do anything for anybody.
That part.
Nobody does. So when my husband does take me out, I'm appreciative. When things are done, like, you know, kitchen, I come down, and I do this even with my kids. And that stops me from having the expectations of them. When I come in the house and the dishes are washed, I'm appreciative that they're washed because nobody didn't have to wash them.
That's right.
So it always keeps me balanced with expectations and appreciation. Because if you look at things like that, like nobody has to do anything. When they do something, just be grateful that they did it. And if something's not adding up to the levels that you want them to add up to, once you've had the conversations, then now you need to reevaluate whether your energy needs to be in that space anymore. And that's really, you know, all I have for it. You know, just try to stay in a state of appreciation and life as much as you can, because the more you appreciate, the more is going to be given and shown to you.
Absolutely. Wow. So it's like we literally share a thought, because I swear that was my comment, to prioritize appreciation over expectations. I feel like, you know, communication kills assumption. Communicate your expectations, and then they won't be unrealistic because this person is aware. But like Tanisha said, but at least express gratitude when there's effort for what you've asked for. And lastly, I just want to say expectations can kill happiness. There is opportunity for you to be happy in your relationship, but because you're so fixated on what you expect from the relationship, you're not present and enjoying the relationship. So definitely make sure that if you have expectations, that they're communicated, but like my sis said, remove them. They're not even necessary. And if you're not going to communicate them, let them go and just enjoy the flow of the relationship. Trust that this person, you know, their desire is to see you happy. Your desire is to be happy and to see them happy. expectations aren't even necessary when you're both, working towards the same goal. So that's all I had to say. Ladies, as always, I enjoy the energy, the vibration, the connection, getting together. And let's go ahead and do this one for Mel, y'all.